In each of our lifetimes, we will experience grief through the loss of someone important to us, perhaps a family member, friend or colleague. A bereavement may impact colleagues and teams in different ways. Sometimes the person we lose is not a relation, but the strength of the relationship and the role they played in our lives may be just as significant. It is for this reason that leaders need to recognise that we are all individuals and experience grief differently. NHS England and NHS Improvement have produced a resource that aims to help you, as a manager and a colleague, to recognise some of the diverse bereavement practices that may form part of the grieving process for a colleague who has lost a loved one. The resource identifies practical steps to take when supporting colleagues through a bereavement and encourages an open, compassionate and caring leadership style, as outlined in the NHS People Plan. Our NHS workplace is rich in diversity, and as line managers it is asked that you recognise the different religions and cultures that our NHS people practice. Line managers should consider each colleague as an individual, and where possible seek to understand more about their bereavement practices when authorising compassionate or bereavement leave. Communicate directly with colleagues to understand how best to support them. And don't be afraid to be sensitive when asking questions to support any decisions that need to be made. As line managers, colleagues might ask you for advice to help them navigate their grief journey. Our resource can support you with this by highlighting the diverse practices colleagues may follow after a bereavement. It also provides advice on having open and honest conversations with colleagues to understand more about their beliefs and cultures, and ask line managers to treat colleagues sensitively and on an individual basis when considering any requests for support or leave. When supporting colleagues through a bereavement, it's important to remember to 1. Be authentic and genuine by demonstrating good leadership and proactively seeking to understand the needs of your colleague. Show empathy and compassion at this upsetting time. 2. Be open and honest in your conversations. Actively listen and learn from colleagues. 3. Be willing to be flexible. Consider the whole circumstances and recognise that colleagues may have specific roles and responsibilities to fulfil in relation to grieving practices and funeral arrangements. 4. Check in with the wider team and keep communication channels open. 5. Where you feel comfortable, build relationships with colleagues by sharing a little about your own practices and beliefs. 6. Be aware of local support offers and guidance available. Work with your local HR team to ensure you are up to date on best bereavement procedures and policies. During the COVID-19 pandemic, there have been new and challenging aspects of grief to consider. We have all been subject to government guidelines which have impacted routine grieving practices, funeral processes, and in some cases, our support systems. As such, it's likely we will see more memorials in the future as the pandemic subsides and restrictions start to relax. Line managers are encouraged to be compassionate when colleagues ask for leave to attend a memorial. A copy of our NHS People Understanding Different Bereavement Practices and How Our Colleagues May Experience Grief resource can be found on the NHS England and NHS Improvement website. Further information and advice on some of the practical aspects of bereavement, as well as to access information on national charities and organisations offering bereavement support, can be found at people.nhs.uk/guides.